Joining me today on NYSE Floor Talk is John Hoffman. He is the head of distribution and partnerships at Grayscale Investments. John, wonderful to have you here. Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here. Great to be on the floor today.
Thank you. So now, John, Spot Bitcoin ETFs are brand new to the market. Tell me a bit about them.
Yeah, so Spot Bitcoin ETFs kind of bring together two of the most significant technological innovations within finance, within our generation. So you have Bitcoin and ETFs, and really bringing that together. ETFs have transformed the way that we invest in many ways, making it simpler, easier, more convenient to invest. And Bitcoin is the world's largest digital asset with over $1 trillion in cap today. And so putting those two things together, making it simpler, easier, more convenient to invest in digital assets is a significant transformation.
Mm-hmm. Now tell me, how have they performed over the past month?
Over the past month, so Bitcoin, when GBTC uplisted, was right around $48,000. There's a little bit of a sell-off, and up through today, we're back up north of 55,000. GBTC has really followed that performance. So from a pure performance standpoint, strong performance. But I think more importantly, the actual mechanics of how they've operated has been really, really impressive. On some days we're seeing, $3, $4, $5, $6 billion of notional activity trading in these, a penny wide throughout the day. GBTC's averaged over $700 million a day in notional volume since it uplisted. So I think by all measures, both in terms of absolute performance, but also just in terms of functionality, it's been a remarkable improvement here in the ability to access crypto.
Mm-hmm. So now Bitcoin has rallied significantly this past week. In your opinion, what has been the biggest driver of price action?
So I think we start with Bitcoin is scarce. There's a scarcity element here. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, ever in the world. And so I think what we're really seeing is just a pure supply and demand situation. You've made it easier, simpler, more convenient to buy Bitcoin. You've opened it up to trillions of dollars of capital in the native environment that people invest today within your brokerage account, within your 401k or your retirement account. And so you have this new capital that is starting to allocate here. And I think it's purely a supply and demand topic. There is more demand than there is supply, and price is increasing. The last thing I'd say is this is happening here in the United States. This is also happening in many other markets around the world. This is a global technology competing for a scarce resource, and I think that's what's driving price over the short term.
Now that GBTC has officially been uplisted, there's been a lot of conversation about Ethereum. Tell me, what's going on with Ethereum ETFs?
Yeah, so at Grayscale, we operate the world's largest Ethereum fund, ticker ETHE. It's not an ETF. However, we have filed a 19B4 to uplist that to an ETF similar to what we did with GBTC. And so we're certainly working with regulators and in active discussions around the product today. But again, that's the world's largest Ethereum fund, and we saw kind of the trajectory of GBTC. It's something we're definitely thinking a lot about and talking to clients about their exposure there as well.
Tell me more about how Grayscale fits into the crypto landscape and why investors should consider your products.
So Grayscale is the world's largest crypto investment management firm. We're also been operating for over a decade in the space. So long, one of the longest operating entities with the largest asset base and the most experience, in a lot of ways. And so I think in most ways, our goal and core objective is make it easier for more investors to access this technology in regulated products. And that's been the mission, and that's what we've done over the last decade. And I think, again, we're just getting started on this journey to democratize investing in cryptocurrencies and beyond.
All right, John, tell me, what excites you most about the future of crypto investing?
So I think, look, we're 15 years in. So from a time perspective, we're beyond our young years, if you will, from a crypto perspective. Having said that, technologies don't go through linear adoption. They tend to be exponential. So when you think of the adoption rate of crypto, there's 52 million Americans that are invested in crypto today, which is a significant number. But when you think about the exponentiality of the adoption, this next decade, I think, could be very, very significant as the technology goes mainstream. If we think about the internet, in the early days, There were some people that were adopting, there were some use cases. We're starting to see that real tipping point now where the use cases, the implementation, the adoption are growing at significant rates. And so that's what really excites me about what could happen here with this technology and how it can really change the way that we live, change the way that we work, and change the way that we play.
John, it's been wonderful to talk with you. Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk today.
Thanks for having me, Judy. It was a pleasure to be here. Thanks.